Hey folks, and welcome to another video of mine. If you are new to my channel, then first of all, a big welcome and thank you so much for watching. In case you're wondering what kind of content do I put out on my channel, then you can expect one tech related video on every Wednesday of the week, like the one that you're watching right now. And you can expect one lifestyle or food related video on every Sunday of the week. Now that I have mentioned that, let's keep that aside and focus on today's video, which is all about a comparison between an Android TV box versus an Apple TV box. So if you're out in the market to buy a TV box, this is the right video for you to watch, because we're going to take a deep dive into a lot of criterias like the physical configuration of these devices, the dimensions, the remotes, the gaming aspect of it, what kind of content can you get on these devices. So we have a lot in store for you. And if you are finding it difficult to decide between an Android TV box or an Apple TV box, this is the right video for you. So kindly stick around till the end of this video and hopefully you will be able to make an informed decision. With that said, let's get started folks and find out about these two devices. Okay folks, so let's start by talking about the configurations or the specifications of both these devices, starting with your CPUs. On your Mi Box 4K, you have a Cortex A53 quad-core processor, which is a 2 GHz processor, a 64-bit processor. On your Apple TV 4K, you have their in-house A10X chip. Yes, this is the same 64-bit A10X chip which was on the first generation of the iPad Pro, and it's a 2.38 GHz processor. Now when it comes to the GPU of these devices, the Mi Box 4K houses a Mali 450 GPU, and the Apple TV houses a GPU which has 12 core, and generally Apple has these CPU and GPU integrations which are embedded together, and the A10X delivers 2.38 GHz of CPU power and 12 cores of GPU power. Now when it comes to the RAM on these devices, the RAM on the Mi Box 4K is 2 GB only, and it's DDR3 2 GB RAM. On the Apple TV 4K, you have 3 GB worth of DDR4 RAM. Now Apple has never publicly announced the amount of RAM that it actually has on its devices, but if you look around, you'll be able to find out that information on various sites. Now in this case, even if you check out a site like macrumors.com, you'll be able to find out from the teardown videos or the teardown specifications that the Apple TV 4K actually comes with 3 GB DDR4 RAM. And finally, when it comes to the storage options, the Mi Box 4K comes with 8 GB worth of internal storage. And on Apple TV, you have a couple of options here. One is a 32 GB variant, and the second one is a 64 GB variant. Now, when it purely comes to the specifications or the configurations of these two devices, then there's no doubt that the Apple TV 4K comes out on top. It beats your Mi Box 4K on all fronts, whether it's your CPU, whether it's your GPU, whether it's your RAM, or whether it's your storage options. There is no competition here. Apple TV 4K clearly takes this round. Now, when it comes to the physical dimensions and the size of these devices, let me tell you that both these devices are extremely compact. I have both of them in my hand right now, and as you can see, the size of these devices, they're really small. Now, when it comes to the weight of these products though, these devices, the Apple TV is definitely the heavier of the lot, and it's got some bulk to it as well. As you can see, the Mi Box 4K is really slim. In fact, it's less than half of your Apple TV 4K when it comes to the height of the device. So it's a very small, very tiny device, and your Apple TV 4K, although it's tiny, it's got some weight to it, and also it's comparatively bulkier to the Mi Box 4K. But having said that, you can just tuck it away in a small corner, and it's not going to take a lot of space when it comes to keeping these devices, and you don't have to be concerned about where should you place them. Now look at them, they're really tiny, aren't they? Now when it comes to the ports available on these devices, I'm just going to show you here. Now the Mi Box 4K actually has an HDMI port along with a USB port, and it's got a power output, and finally you've got a 3.5mm jack, which I believe is important. All right, the Mi Box 4K has that. Now your Apple TV 4K on the other hand only has your power cable, it has your HDMI port, and surprisingly it has an Ethernet port. All right, so you can plug your Ethernet cable directly into it, and if you want uninterrupted internet connected to your Apple TV 4K, then this is the way to go. However, if you want a 3.5mm jack so that you can connect a speaker system over to your Mi Box 4K, this is the way to go if you're really into those 3.5mm cables and connecting it to the speaker. Now please keep in mind that both these devices can be connected to any speaker that you want via Bluetooth. All right, so it's not going to be a problem. You can just connect any speaker to these devices using your Bluetooth. So does the 3.5mm jack really make a difference? Well, in my personal opinion, it doesn't. Does the Ethernet port make a difference? Well, again, in my opinion, it doesn't. Both these devices, they are tiny. I would say they have their plus and minuses when it comes to the 3.5mm and the Ethernet port, but I would say I would give it a draw, when it comes to this round, when it comes to the physical dimensions. I like both, by the way. Now the same minimalistic concept of these two devices continues with their remote controllers as well. On your Mi TV box, you have a remote controller which is very minimalistic. You have a few buttons, very few buttons in fact. You have the power button, you have the Google Assistant button, then you have a kind of a navigator so that you can press around and move around the UI. And then finally you have a home button, an app tray button, and also a back button here along with your volume toggles, plus or minus. Very minimalistic, very light, and it's good to hold in the hand. All right, it's got a nice shape. When it comes to your Apple TV, it is even smaller if you look at it. All right, look at the size of that thing. Right now I've got a case on it, so with the case it is this big, but even if I do take the case out, it's not going to make much of a difference. But when it comes to the size, the Apple TV takes minimalistic to a whole new level, because here you have like a trackpad that you can use in case you want to navigate. So instead of this circular physical button, you have a trackpad. So that is the difference when it comes to your Apple TV. Apart from that, it has a menu button, it has the screen button, and we're going to get into what these buttons do as well. Then you have a mic button here, same as your Google Assistant button, basically the same feature. Then you have the pause and play button here along with your volume toggles, plus and minus. Now when it comes to the remote, I actually quite like the Apple TV remote simply because of the fact that the trackpad feels more fluid and it gives you a feeling that you're actually using a computer. It has that mouse clickiness when it comes to the trackpad. So in terms of the remotes, I would say the Apple TV remote is definitely better. So Apple TV remote takes the cake in this one too. Now let's take a look at the boot times of these devices. So we're going to start off with the Mi Box 4K. So just to be fair, I am going to click on that restart button just to show you how long it takes to boot up. And I have my timer right in front of me as well. I'm going to set up the timer as well so that you understand how long it's going to take to boot up. So let's go and restart. I'm going to do the same thing with the Apple TV as well. I'm going to restart the Apple TV 4K and I'm going to show you how long it takes when you finally hit that restart button. So it's as good as booting up from scratch when it comes to these devices, and that's why I've taken this approach. We are already down almost 30 seconds and it still hasn't booted up. And let's wait just for a few more seconds. And it took 41 seconds, approximately 42 seconds for it to boot up from scratch. We're going to try the same thing with the Apple TV now. Okay, so we're going to do the same process with the Apple TV 4K as well. What we're going to do is we're going to head over to the settings and we're going to head over to the restart button and we're going to restart the Apple TV 4K just like we did with the Mi Box 4K. To be fair, We want it to be an even playing field, and that's why we are going to reset the clocks here, and I'm going to hit that restart button and bang. So let's see how long it takes now for the Apple TV 4K to boot up. Already 10 seconds down, no sign of booting up yet. And let's find out if that Apple Power, oh wow, stop, 22 seconds. So it clearly beats the Mi Box 4K. I'm gonna quickly take a screenshot of this. And in terms of the boot up time, Apple TV comes out on top again. Now coming to the Mi Box 4K, your Mi Box 4K is a very standard experience because it ships along with Android 9 tvOS straight out of the box. And I'm just going to go over to the device information and show you that it's version 9 of your Android tvOS. Now with the Android tvOS 9, it's a standard affair. Not that there's something wrong with this, but in terms of the exclusivity factor, you will not find anything exclusive here. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just that this is the same tvOS that ships out on every single Android TV. So the experience, the good that comes out of it is that the experience is the same, and because of that, there is no learning curve. You will not find it difficult to navigate from one app to the other or move over from one place to the other. Now, because of the fact that it comes along with Android tvOS 9, it also has your Google Play Store in there. And with the Google Play Store, you have many options of these various applications that you can download. So many applications, many games also that you can download, and it's not going to be a problem. You also have the Google Play Movies and TV, so in case you want to check out any movies or any TV series, then you can check that out as well. And they have a wide variety of things that you can choose from, and we're going to talk about this in a bit as well. Apart from that, it comes with all your goodies like Prime Video straight out of the box. It comes with Netflix, YouTube straight out of the box. Disney Plus Hotstar, well, it's not available straight out of the box, but again, like I said, since it comes with Google Play Store, you can download any application which is on the Play Store, so that's not going to be a problem. Now apart from that, you can also sideload apps, meaning if you have an APK, you can sideload applications over to your Mi Box 4K. However, I would not recommend sideloading applications because if it's not from a trusted developer, you have the risk of your Gmail account getting hacked, and I would never advise you to sideload any apps. But feel free to go to the Play Store and check out any apps that you want to download. You will not be disappointed there. So the user interface, it's one that you are going to be very familiar with, and that's why the ease of navigation is going to be there. However, it misses out on the exclusivity factor. Now let's talk about your Apple TV user interface. Now to begin with, as you can see on the screen, you have these beautiful live wallpapers, you could say, and you can navigate each one of them. And look at how beautiful they are. There are some beautiful drone shots. There are shots from the space, like this one which says moving southeast over Siberia and Mongolia. And you can just skip over to the next one if you don't like the one that you're seeing on the screen. But these drone shots, they look magnificent. And I'm just gonna adjust the camera here a little bit, just so that you get an idea of how beautiful it looks. Now coming to the interface itself, again, the interface is very colorful. And in terms of that exclusivity factor, which was missing on the Android tvOS 9 or on tvOS 10, you have the exclusivity factor here. The UI is very different to your Android tvOS. And it can be a bad thing or a good thing. In this case, if you ask me personally, my preference when it comes to the UI would definitely lean towards your Apple tvOS, because these app icons, they are laid out beautifully. You can adjust each of them. You can just move one around. In case you don't like this one to be here, you can take it somewhere else and even create folders if you wanted to, but I don't want that right now. So, whoops, I'm just gonna come out and place it right where it was. But as you can see, the user interface is very clean, very neat, and you can set up all your main apps on the app tray which comes on top. Now I watch a lot of Apple TV, and that's why it's number one on the app tray, and then you have your Netflix and your Prime Video as well. But all of these look extremely good. The user interface in terms of the color, in terms of the exclusivity, in terms of the navigation, I would say the Apple TV 4K definitely tops the competition when it comes to the user interface, and it's so seamless. And even the trackpad, when you saw the remote, right, the trackpad, it's so good. I mean, everything seems really good. You move over to an app like the Apple TV, which is nothing but your Google Movies and TV counterpart when it comes to the Apple TV ecosystem, and you have a plethora of movies that you can actually choose from. We're gonna get to this in a bit when we talk about the movies. But again, even this interface. Now what Xiaomi has done with the patch wall interface is, in fact, it's kind of ripped this off, you could say, in very blunt words. It's a rip-off of your Apple TV OS. So the patch wall interface, which comes on MI televisions, actually copies this interface. That's how good this is, you know. I mean, it's worth copying or getting inspired, you could say. And when it comes to the user interface, as you can see, Apple TV 4K definitely takes the cake, and it takes this round, no doubt about it. Now the app ecosystem on both your Android TV box, the Mi Box 4K in this case, and even the Apple TV, they're both robust. But just to give you an idea, you do have the Google Play Store. So the ecosystem of the apps that are available here, well, there are many that you can choose from. All the usual suspects would be there, like Disney Plus Hotstar. There's even Amazon Music. There's YouTube Kids if you wanted to. There's Crunchyroll if you're really into animes. And there's JioCinema. And even in terms of games, you have many games available on the Android Play Store. We're gonna get to the gaming department in just a bit. Many options here. And it just goes to show that the app ecosystem is good when it comes to Android TV OS 9 and when it comes to the Mi Box 4K. Now, even if you go over to the movies section, you have many movies to choose from. You have Google Play Games as well. If you're really into games, you can even download apps like MX Player or VLC Player in case you like watching a lot of movies by connecting a USB. Speaking of which, since you did see that there was a USB slot on your Mi Box 4K, now you can connect a pen drive or a hard drive. And if you've got movies loaded onto these pen drives and hard drives, you can simply load it up. There's the VLC player, there's the MX Player Pro, and there's even the file manager. You can start watching these movies straight off of your pen drive or your hard drive. Now, this is something that you cannot do on your Apple TV 4K. There is no USB drive. So you cannot do that on Apple TV. So this is one option which is available on your Mi Box 4K, and I believe it's a good option to have, especially, you know, for people who like downloading movies and watching them. However, I'm not in support of piracy, so it doesn't make a huge difference, you know, to me. I prefer going over to these various streaming platforms like Netflix, Prime Video, and even Disney Plus Hotstar, and then just watching my movies off of these platforms. So the app ecosystem, as you can see, it's really good. Now, when it comes to the Apple TV and its app ecosystem, a lot changed with the iOS 14 update. So even in this case, the tvOS 14 brought about a lot of changes, and they were all positive. The changes that came along were especially to the App Store. You now had more options that you could choose from. Now, prior to tvOS 14, I would say if I had to compare the app ecosystem of tvOS, let's say 13 over to Android, then I would say the Android tvOS would have taken this round. But after the update of the tvOS 14, things changed, and now you had a plethora of applications that you could download from your TV OS, your Apple TV OS. You have so many, and again, even in this case, you have your usual suspects like Netflix, Hotstar, YouTube, Prime Video, there's Z5, As you can see, Alt Balaji, so many of them. There are a lot of options even for kids, and that's what I like about it. There are exclusive applications for kids on your Apple TV OS, which are just not available on your Android TV OS. Now, apart from that, even their games, some of these games are exclusive games, which are only available on your Apple TV OS. You will not be able to find them on your Android TV OS. And then who can forget Apple's arcade gaming subscription, which is an exclusive service limited to Apple ecosystem only. And with this subscription, that is, you get access to hundreds of high quality games. Now, some of these games, in fact, have console level graphics in them. And yes, I'm not exaggerating. They do have console level graphics in them. If you consider games like Samurai Jack as an example, there's so many good games like Wonder Box, which is about to come, and then you have Fallen Knight, you have Lego Brawls, you have Hot Lava, which is such a great game, you have Rayman Mini, and these games, by the way, they are not gonna be available on your Android TV OS because it's exclusive to Apple Arcade and the Apple ecosystem. So when it comes to the apps and the app ecosystem, Apple definitely takes the cake, takes this round, no doubt about it. Even the way the interface looks, everything, it's so beautiful. It's really pretty. And I like those chunky boxes which highlights some of these games. Like you have Alto's Odyssey, it says editor's choice, and Evoland 2 Year, Paco Forever. So these things, they look great, and you cannot have this experience on Android TV OS. It's just not there. So again, it comes down to that exclusivity factor, and it comes down to this seamless, intuitive interface and the app ecosystem, which just comes together beautifully to give you this heightened experience, which will not be available in your Android TV OS. Apple TV and Apple TV ecosystem clearly takes this round as well. Alright, so first things first, just like you can connect your controller to your Apple TV, you can connect your controller to your Android device here as well, which is the Mi Box 4K in this case. As you can see, it says Xbox wireless controller connected. Here's my Xbox wireless controller, and it says that it's connected over to my Mi Box 4K. So now what we're going to do is we're going to head over to play a few games. First of all, as far as the game selection goes, there is a lot of games that you can choose from, and any game you want to check, you can just try to search for it on the App Store. So you can just run a search and you'll be able to search these games here. But right now, let me just come back and quickly open a few games. I am interested in trying out Badlands, so let's say I open up Badlands, and by the way, my Xbox game controller is okay. I'm just going to give it access, allow. All right, so you can download any game that you want from the Android Play Store. However, the user interface of the Play Store, I would say, now that we have got used to this user interface for such a long time, it's kind of dull and it's kind of boring, the way you navigate and search for applications, etc. Again, please don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. It works seamlessly, but it's just that the human heart, it always wants more. It wants things to be better. It wants things to improve. And that is something that you will not get on the Android TV OS. Now, as you can see, this game, it's working seamlessly. I am using my Xbox controller to play this. Really bad at the game, but you perhaps might be able to hear the button mashing as well that I'm doing just to stay afloat this game. But as you can see, the game runs seamlessly. no issues, no glitches, no stutters, and lost. Okay, so I'm now gonna head over to another game. Let's say I go over to Google Play Store again, and now I want to download and play, let's say, Crossy Road. I've already downloaded this game, so I'm just gonna open it up, and this is in fact one of my favorites, hyper casual game, in fact super casual game. If I'm not doing anything, if I'm waiting for someone, at some place, if they're late, then this is one game that I would not mind playing at all. I'm just gonna put in 18 for now. Well, the heart is always young, as they say. So here I am playing Crossy Roads. Okay. So as you can see, I'm still using the Xbox controller, and there you have it. Okay, so this is another game that you can play, and no problems whatsoever. It works seamlessly. Just gonna play a little more. Okay, I think that's good enough to show you what this game can do. Now I'm gonna head over to a slightly heavier game, and there's a reason as to why I'm gonna play that game. It's also because of the fact that it's also available on Apple TV, and that's Real Racing by EA. Okay, so the content is almost loaded up. Well, it does take these patches on the Android devices. I haven't seen this kind of a requirement on your Apple device, but yeah, as you can see, it's now loading up. Okay, I'm just gonna do yes, 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 yes. Privacy and policy. Okay, I confirm. Okay, so we're gonna head over to this game. By now you would have had an idea as to how long this whole thing has taken up to load. Real Racing would like to create, edit. I don't want it to do anything, so I'm just gonna deny everything, but it still loads up. And as you can see, this is what the game looks like on your Mi Box 4K, and I am using my controller to start this. So I'm still using my Xbox controller. Continue. All right, so the interface, I believe, is slightly different to your Apple TV interface. Okay, I'm just gonna race. I just want to show you the gameplay. That's what is the main thing as to how does it look when it comes to the games. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Can I have a third party view? Oh yeah, a third person view rather. Okay, so this is what this game looks like. It's not bad, and so far it's been doing a good job. There are no stutters, not lagging, no screen tearing, and I would say the game is playing smoothly for a device which has this minimal specification or configuration. So it did not do a bad job. In fact, I didn't do a bad job. It says I came first. Did I? I doubt that. Anyways, so this is what the game looks like on your Android TV. Now we're going to head over to the Apple TV, and we're going to check out this game as well. In fact, we're going to check out other games as well, and we're going to talk about why the Apple TV is different in terms of the gaming. So let's move over to the Apple TV 4K now. Now, in case of gaming controllers, you can connect any gaming controllers to this. I'm just going to connect my Xbox One controller over to this. As it says, connect to Xbox controller, and the controller is connected now. It's very simple. So in case I want to play any game, let's say, since we did speak about Samurai Jack, let's go to Samurai Jack and check this game out. So again, it's just to give you an idea as to how you can actually play on your Apple TV and your Apple Arcade using your Xbox controller or any Bluetooth controller for that. It doesn't necessarily have to be Xbox controller. If you have a PS controller, you can connect your PS controller as well. If you have a Steel Series controller like the one that You see here the tiny little one. Look at the size of that, by the way. Alright, if you have this kind of a controller, you can connect that as well. As long as it's a Bluetooth controller, you can connect a Bluetooth controller and you should be good. So save game conflict. Alright, I'm just gonna go with the one which is on the cloud. Now this is just to give you an idea as to how the graphics look on your Apple TV, and I don't know if the camera will do justice to it, but this is console level quality, you could say. Absolutely seamless. I'm just gonna die here. Can't escape this place. I'm really bad at gaming, but it's just to give you an idea as to how seamless these games really are when it comes to the playing bit. I'm pressing all the buttons, jumping around just to show you that you can do this. I'm gonna escape this, alright? I'm gonna move over to some other game, and let's go over to a game like let's see which one. Oh, Little Orpheus. By the way, Little Orpheus, what a great looking game. And I have spoken about this game even in my other video where I've actually spoken about Apple Arcade and Apple TV, and I'm gonna link it up somewhere here. I'm gonna put up a card, so in case you want to take a look at an in-depth Apple TV review, long-term review, then you could take a look at that as well. I'm just going to continue with this, and look at the load times of these games as well. They have been optimized to suit this platform, which is the Apple Arcade platform, and across multiple devices, whether it's your phone, whether it's your iPad, whether it's your Apple TV. So these games, they are all optimized for these various devices, and the amount of details that you can see on the screen, the dust particles in the air, the lighting, look at that ray of light. It all looks so beautiful, and the graphics are, I keep mentioning this over and over again, console level graphics, because it simply is. The graphic quality of these games, they are phenomenal. And what is even astounding is the fact that they've been able to pack so much power in the tiny device that you saw. The Apple TV is such a small device, but there's such a lot of power in that small device. And as you can see, press and hold B to interact. Okay, so I can even interact with these devices, but it's just to give you an idea. Basically, I'm not going to keep playing these games. I'm anyways really bad at it, but hopefully it should give you an idea of how these games play out. Another thing that you can do on the Apple TV, and this is exclusively for Apple TV and not on your Android, is you can use your Apple TV remote itself to play certain games. Certain games like this one here, which is your Happy Tennis. For instance, if you've got kids come over, then they can just go over to a game like Happy Tennis as an example, and they can start playing this game. Now you can use the controller, the Apple TV remote itself as a controller, and it has motion sensors. So you can play this game using the Apple TV remote. I'm just going to show you just a small example. My kid here is actually playing this game using the Apple TV controller, and as you can see, it's more like the PlayStation 4 controller that you have, the motion controllers. So it's exactly like that. Great for games like this one here, which is the tennis game, and kids are going to have a great time. Now this is an experience which you will not be able to find on Android TV. You cannot use the Mi Box 4K TV remote, and it does not have any motion controllers or motion sensors. So this again is an Apple TV exclusive experience where kids especially, and in fact even adults, if you're having a party, if you have got friends over, they can all compete and have a great time by playing games like this. So this is another example of how Apple TV tops the Mi Box 4K in terms of the gaming experience. Okay, last but not the least, since I did mention that I am gonna show you real racing on the Apple TV 4K as well, I'm gonna switch this on and just to show you how long it takes to load up. It is loading up fairly quickly. Now, wow, that was quick. That is quick. In fact, the game's already loaded up, by the way. It was just showing some videos. Now, I have not connected the Xbox connector to this, I mean the controller to this. This time I'm just gonna play using the Apple TV remote, and it says that rotate CD remote horizontally. Okay, so I have to keep the remote like this. That's what it says. So now all I got to do is just tilt my remote right and left to steer the device. Okay, I am ready. So let's do this. Okay, all right. Swipe up to change the camera. All right, I got that. Swipe up. Okay, all right. I like the third person view, so I'm just gonna click on to continue, and 3, 2, 1 and go. All right, so I am using the Apple TV remote in this case to control it. The game looks certainly better on the Apple TV 4K. There is more detailing in the game when it comes to the grass, when it comes to the concrete or the tar that it's on. Even in terms of the background, the sky and the clouds, the lights, the place itself, everything looks so much better on the Apple TV 4K. Needless to say that it is doing a fantastic job in maintaining that frame rate. No stutters, super smooth experience, and whoa, I'm so bad at this game. I don't drive like this in real life, and I most certainly hope none of you all do. But yeah, it's just to give you an idea as to how it runs on the Apple TV 4K. It runs comparatively better. So when it comes to the gaming experience, I cannot emphasize on this enough that the Apple TV 4K is the place and the device to go to when it comes to your games. Of course, it cannot compete with your consoles or your PC gaming, but hey, these TV boxes, right, they give you a decent experience when it comes to your casual games like real racing, or the ones that we saw which was the other one, the Crossy Road, Badlands, Samurai Jack, games like Orpheus, and there's so many others on the Apple Arcade as well, which offer you close to a console experience. So Apple TV hands down wins this round without a doubt. Now let's quickly take a look at the Apple TV's response to Google Movies and TV. So Apple also has something called Movies or iTunes Movies. We're going to quickly head to that. Now the one thing that I do want to talk about before we move any further into the video is the fact that Apple TV or iTunes Movies, they always have great deals or great offers. Now as you can see here, it says that they've got a limited time offer for movies that have been from the studio of Paramount. And if I go to any of these movies, let's try to go over to, let's say, Shaft, okay, because this is from the year 2000. It's got Samuel L. Jackson, and I try to look for how much it costs. It only costs 350 rupees. So if you are a movie lover and if you are into collecting digital movies, then the Apple TV or iTunes Movies is comparatively better to Google Movies and TV. And here's my reason why. For instance, we did see the price of Tenet on your Android television, and on your Android television the price of Tenet was around how much was it? I don't know. I think it was around 720 rupees for the 4K version. Here it says 690 for the 4K version. And similarly, if I go over to some other movie now, let's say okay, here was Wonder Woman, right? We did take a look at Wonder Woman as well on your Mi Box 4K. So Wonder Woman here costs, if I go over to the cost of this, it costs around 790. I think there was not much of a difference. I think it was around 800 there when it comes to Wonder Woman. So not much of a difference here. Yeah, it was 800 rupees. Now let's go over to a movie like Bloodshot. We did see Bloodshot there on Android TV as well. Now Bloodshot in this case is 390. Now if I go over to Bloodshot and on your Android television, let me just check that, while we are on this. I'm just quickly gonna head over to my Android TV as well, and I'm just gonna check the price of Bloodshot while we're doing this. So okay, now Bloodshot on your Mi Box 4K and Android TV generally costs around, it says buy from 500. When it says buy from 500, that's for the SD version. All right, here the HD version costs around 390, but on the Android TV box it costs around 720 rupees. So that's almost double the price of what you see on Android TV. Now let's take another movie that we did see on your Android TV, and I believe that was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So if I check out Into the Spider-Verse and the cost of Into the Spider-Verse, do we have that here? Okay, yeah, here you have it. Now on your Android TV, this movie for the HD version, not the SD version, the SD version was around 460 rupees, but the HD version cost around 700 rupees. But here on Apple TV, it costs only around 290. So it means on the Android TV, it costs more than double. Now, apart from that, there are so many deals and promotions that they keep running from time to time. And they also have this separate section where you get movies under 200 rupees, movies under 300 rupees, movies under 400, 500 rupees. I have personally purchased, some of these movies at insane prices. I mean, I think I bought Shazam at around 199 rupees or 250 rupees at most. And Shazam was bought for that price for a 4K Dolby version of the movie. All right, I'm not going to play it, copyright issues, but it was a 4K version and a Dolby Vision version. So most of the movies that you get on Apple TV 4K are generally 4K HDR movies, and all for insanely low prices. Brightburn, I think I paid only 250 rupees as well. I paid almost 200 rupees for this movie called Everly, or even for After Earth. Majority of what you see here, they were all bought on sale, and they were really competitive in terms of the pricing. So if you're a movie collector, if you like movies and you like collecting a digital copy of these movies, again, Apple TV is your platform. I just showed you a few examples, and if you download 10 movies like that, you are saving. Let's take the example of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, right? You were saving almost double, 300 rupees, right? 10 movies like that, 3,000 rupees. That's how much you would save. So in terms of the content, it definitely gives you your money back many times over if you like collecting movies. And if you're one of those people, Apple TV is the platform. Apple TV 4K is the device that you should buy. Okay, so finally, let's talk about the pricing now. Now, Mi Box 4K retails at around 3,500 Indian rupees on online platforms like Flipkart. You can get it off of Amazon as well. And I'm just going to put up the link in the description should you decide to buy it. Apple TV, on the other hand, is an expensive affair to deal with. So it may not be for everyone when it comes to the pricing. It is priced at 19,500 rupees for the 64 gig variant. Now, even the 32 gig variant comes at around 17,500. Now, my suggestion to all you lovely folks, is that if you are buying the Apple TV 4K, then please go ahead and buy the 64GB variant, because there's a difference of around 2000 rupees between the two, the 32 and the 64. Because if you like games, if you want to download games, then that is definitely the route to go, the 64GB variant. But here's where the Apple TV falls short or shy in terms of the pricing. Now, at 3,500 rupees, you're getting almost all of what you saw in this video so far. And the Mi Box 4K does not give you a bad experience. It's just that it can't keep up with Apple TV in terms of the hardware, in terms of the user interface. But hey, at that price, at 3,500, is it worth that money? Definitely yes. So in terms of the price to value ratio, all right, this round goes to your Mi Box 4K, because the price to value ratio is simply unbeatable. Apple TV is really expensive at that rate, unless you are a digital movie collector, all right? And if you are, then we saw a few examples, like some of the movies, they were priced almost at double of what you would get them at on the Android movies and TV, right? The Google movies and TV. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, as an example, was almost double of what you would pay on Apple TV. So if you're a digital movie collector, Apple TV is the place to be. And if you're collecting 20, 30, 40, hundreds of movies, then in that case, you will get your money's worth. But if you're not into collecting movies, and hey, we live in a time when we have Netflix, Prime Video and Hotstar, who would be collecting movies now that you can stream them on all these platforms by paying a small subscription fee? So with that said, I think the price to value ratio simply cannot keep up with the Mi Box 4K. It might have great hardware, but of course it comes at a cost. Now that helps us in concluding this video as well. Who or what kind of a person do you have to be to purchase these devices? Or rather, let me put it the other way around. These devices, who are these devices for? Now, if you are a person who likes a bit of everything, like a little bit of movies, a little bit of streaming content, you like watching YouTube, and you're not into gaming, really, you're not into collecting movies at all, Mi Box 4K, hands down, would have my vote. And it's a device which is really capable for that price of 3,500. It's in fact unbelievable that they're giving so much value at 3,500. It does come with a few features like the 3.5mm jack, and it does come with the USB pen drive or hard drive that you can connect to as well. So that's where you need to go if you are into a little bit of everything. Now coming to the Apple TV, this is an exclusive device meant for people who have exclusive needs or specific needs. It's for a niche audience. If you are a digital movie collector, if you're really into playing a lot of games, then the Apple Arcade is the place to be. And you will not be disappointed with their collection of games. You will not be disappointed with their app interface or their user interface overall. So that's the route to go. And of course, if you have 19,500 rupees to shell out, then hey, it's no question at all, Apple TV 4K is the way to go. Now my personal pick for an average Joe, for people like you and me, the Mi Box 4K should be sufficient. Now I am deeply invested into the Apple TV system, the Apple ecosystem, speaking of iPad, iPhone, iMac, MacBook, and then finally the Apple TV. So for a person who has invested into that ecosystem, the Apple ecosystem, it makes sense to go that way or that route. Because let me give you another example that we can do on the Apple TV is the fact that I have my computer, my iMac in my den, you could call it, and then I have the Apple TV in my living area. All I got to do is just cast from my computer over to the Apple TV 4K, and it's seamless. It works like a charm. I won't be able to do something like that. Of course, you have screen casting and mirroring, where you can, cast anything from your phone as well. But if you want to cast anything from your laptop or from your desktop, Apple TV does so beautifully. All right. So that integration is there. So if you are invested into the Apple ecosystem, Apple TV 4K is the way to go. But I think for your everyday needs, a little bit of something and everything is there in the Mi Box 4K. That's why, it's a device which the majority will buy. And for a niche audience, Apple TV 4K definitely takes the cake. and there is no denying the fact that it is a superior device. So in terms of superiority of the device, Apple TV wins the game. In terms of price to value ratio, Mi Box 4K wins the game. Have your pick based on this video. You can decide, what kind of audience you belong to. All right. So hopefully, folks, I've been able to answer most of your questions. Now, I hope you've liked this video. In case you have liked this video, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also the bell notification in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. With that said, we come to the end of the video, folks. That's a wrap for this one. Thank you so much for watching again. Until we meet again in the next one, this is me signing off. Take care, stay safe, and God bless you all.